Let's keep this train rolling, man. There are more to be caught. Oh, dude, giant. We got a giant. On the very next cast, we got an absolute monster. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Orange 22 Fishing. We are out here on a 40-degree day. Yes, you heard me right. It's 40 degrees. I'm all bundled up. I look about 100 pounds heavier than I actually am with all these coats on. And it's that time of year. It is getting late here into the fall. Pretty much winter now, and I'm freezing, I'm not gonna lie. But we're gonna be doing some fishing today, hoping to get on some big bass. And it's gonna be one of those days where I'm not really focusing on one bait, I don't think. I'm gonna start off with a swim bait that I'll show you guys in a minute, but I'm just gonna try to key in on a bite and just get on some fish, because this time of year you gotta take what you can get, and a lot of times it's a struggle. So we're just gonna be tossing around. We might do a little bit of pond hopping, spot hopping, and trying some different locations and stuff. But the spot we're gonna start off, I'll show you guys here in a minute, is one that you might recognize from before, because we caught a lot of big fish here. So this is the spot. It looks much different now than it did back in, I think it was late July when we were slaying it here. It's the old tunnel spot. The water is very, very high because we had a lot of rain come through, and just because it's a winter, we have a lot different scenery here. Before this was all overgrown and stuff, it still kind of is, but not nearly as bad. So we have a little bit more room to cast around and everything. And there is giant fish in here. I've caught fish just under 5 pounds in here, bass. And if you want to watch that video, I'll link it down below. But today we're gonna try to create another awesome video out here. And like I said, we are going to be moving around and spot hopping if this one doesn't pan out. It's just, this time of year is very tough, so you got to find a location that's hot, you got to find a lure that's hot, and then hopefully those all come together and you can make a decent video out of it. So that's what I'm hoping for today. And this is the bait we're going to be starting off using. I want to try to get into some bigger swim bait fishing, and this is a big one right here. It's a soft plastic swim bait made by Death Wish, and I picked these up at Dick's not too long ago. Actually, I've already caught some bass on them off camera. Nothing too big, but they are fun to use. And I'm seeing shad jumping all over the place, so that is a really, really good sign. I'm just gonna slow roll this thing kind of towards the bottom, and we're gonna see what we can get. This is a pretty deep little pocket of this body of water right here, so I'm gonna try to get it way down there and just slow crank it. And let's make sure my drag is set and everything, so I can get a good hook set in these fish. Looks like we're good to go. Let's get this thing rolling. See if we can't get on a big one today. I've not caught a big bass in a while, so I feel like I'm due a little bit. Just super slow retrieve. Look how slow I'm reeling this thing. It's hard to do because I love fishing fast, but this is the technique that worked when I tried this thing out and did a little bit of pre-fishing for this video. So that's what I'm gonna do today. And while I do want to catch stuff on this swim bait, if we're not catching, I'm going to switch over to some other baits too, because I don't want to get caught up in one bait and just miss another opportunity. So we're just going to use whatever works. And I'm not going to be shy about changing up baits. But the shad are going crazy. Like literally, I've probably seen 20 blow-ups just from being back here and filming the intro. If we do manage to get something on this swim bait, the bite's probably going to be really subtle. That's why I experienced when I caught the fish on this before. You just kind of feel like a slack on there a little bit, and then you crank it up and you got a fish, but you can rarely feel them like actually thump it hard. That bait looks deadly in the water though. I mean, that wobble side to side. Something's gonna crush that. So shad are just getting slammed back here. I'm seeing it like every 5 seconds or so. We're getting a blow up back in this little pocket. So they're definitely eating shad, and they're definitely eating, which is the big key. So we just got to find out exactly what they want. If I don't get any soon on the swim bait, I'll probably throw a lipless or a chatterbait, because those are more good shad imitations. I got the Guggen clutch and I got the Guggen clickbait, as well as just the original Z-Man chatterbait. And I think I got the Warriors chatterbait too, that one that I used in the challenge with Trey here in the last video. But the key is we are seeing these blow ups, so it's only a matter of time before we hook up.
12 seconds later.
All right, unfortunately, nothing on the swim bait. I might come back to that later on at a different spot. But because of all these blowups that I'm seeing, I'm thinking the fish are gonna be way more aggressive than I originally thought they would be. So we're gonna throw aggressive baits. We're gonna fast move a chatterbait or a lipless through here and just crank that thing in super fast and see if we can't find a pattern with that. So I decided to go on and tie the Guggen clutch on here. This is my favorite lipless crankbait that I've ever used. This is the one, actually the exact bait that I caught my PB bass on back in March. And this is just a big fish producer. I've caught tons of big bass on this thing before. So we're gonna sling it around out there. Right over in that area is where I'm seeing most of the shad, so that's where we're gonna concentrate the majority of our casts. And this thing is gonna cast a mile for us. So we're gonna get out there. It's where these fish are hopefully gonna be. And just waiting on that first bite, man. You gotta get in a rhythm here. It's hard to beat a good lipless bite too. Like when they hit this thing, they crush it. You can feel that vibrate all the way up through the pole and everything. It's just a very fun bait to use. This thing is loud. Listen to this rattle. If that doesn't get a fish's attention, I don't know what will. There we go. Oh, he came off. That was a solid bite. Burning the lipless. Might be a pattern. He was on there for a second or two. I don't know how he got away from these trebles, but he was way out there. Well, we are snagged on something out there. And it's slowly coming towards us, I think. I don't want to lose this bait. What do we have out here? Oh, whatever this is probably like 100 pounds, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get this in. Yep, a humongous stump. Good Lord. Haha, got it out. Whew. Hooks didn't even bend at all. If that's not a testament to these Guggen bait hooks, I don't know what is. Because that thing is literally probably 100 pounds. It's a massive piece of wood. My line held up great. Thankfully I didn't break my rod in half. And that's like a freaking railroad tie. If I don't manage to catch a fish at this spot, it's just gonna drive me crazy because I know they're here. They're literally feeding like crazy. It doesn't make sense that we haven't even got a fish in yet, but it's just insane to me how many shad are in here. I'm running into them as I'm casting. I can just feel my lure just bumping into shad. All right, let's give it a try with the chatterbait. If that doesn't work, we're just gonna move on to the next spot because this spot is frustrating me right now, but chatterbait has always been the best lure to use here, so that's what we're gonna try. And if they're not biting that, I can kind of leave in peace knowing that they're just not gonna bite on anything. All right, chatterbait, time to do your thing. I got the original Z-Man on here, white and chartreuse. It's a go-to color for me, it never fails. And we got a Kitech 4-inch easy shiner on the back in a silver, sparkle, and white color. And that is as good of a shad imitation as you will come across. So if they don't hit this, they're just not gonna hit any of my lures. It's at the point, guys, where these fish are literally just taunting me. I've tried the chatterbait, I've tried the lipless, I've tried the swim bait, and at any given time, there's shad everywhere. Like, these are the most shad I've ever seen in my life in one spot. They're coming up to the surface, they're getting eaten, and I somehow cannot catch a fish on tried and true shad imitations. It just doesn't make any sense. But we're gonna go over to the other side and try fishing the other side of this tunnel, and we might be able to hook something over there. If not, it gives us a little bit of a mental reset for the rest of the day to kind of get away from this area. But I'll come back and throw a couple casts here in a minute. But let's go up the trail here. I'm gonna leave my stuff right here, hopefully nobody takes it, and we're just gonna throw a couple of casts if it's clear enough to make it through up here. In the summer, this is very tough to get through, so it should be a little bit better in the winter. All of these are normally thorn bushes that we have to deal with, and I'm hoping the big snakes that live back in here are hibernating, because there are some absolute monstrous snakes that live back here. Sheesh. All right, look both ways before we cross the tracks. And here is our next little spot. Same body of water, of course. We're just gonna toss down in this little area, and then we'll toss over here as well. But maybe they're sitting over here today, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what's going on with the fish. Gotta be careful coming down this incline, because it's very, very steep. A lot steeper than it probably looks on camera, because it's like a pretty good angle right there. I think we want to go right over there and sling around. It's gonna make it tricky here because the water is definitely up. I can normally stand where all that growth is kind of halfway underwater. So we're kind of further on the bank, and I got trees and stuff to deal with, but I do have my boots on, so I can probably walk out here a little bit. But normally I'm standing out here, so it's kind of weird. But let's see if they're not sitting back in this little calm area. Might be able to get one or two. Weird thing is, I'm not seeing any shad whatsoever jumping back here. Like, it seems like a completely different atmosphere for these fish to be feeding in. And same result, no bites. So it looks like this second little location here is probably a bust as well. And that's not all that uncommon this time of year, for having your go-to spots just not panning out at all. It's frustrating, but it happens. And it's one of those things, you just got to be a little bit resilient with it and just move on to the next one with a fresh, clear mentality. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get up out of here and hit another pond, and then if that one doesn't work out, same kind of deal. We're just gonna keep going until we catch fish, or until it gets dark out. So give me a minute to get back to the car, and I'll see you at the next location. All right, as promised, we are here at the next pond of the day, and this is just a cool little pond that I like to come to sometimes. It does have some nice bass in it, up to like 3 and 4 pounds. So I'm gonna start off with the same bait that we ended the last location at, that same chatterbait. We're just gonna burn it around the edges here, toss it in the middle a couple of times, and we're not gonna waste our time if we're not getting bites. So we're not gonna spend too long in any one location, because we only got a little bit of daylight to deal with here today. Got probably an hour and a half left, so we'll just keep moving around until we finally find some fish. But we don't give up easily, you guys know that. This is kind of the deeper area of the pond that we're working our way over to. It's about 3 to 4 feet in the middle. The area we just started at was about 2 to 2.5. And I'm thinking with the cooler weather, especially today, super cold weather, they're gonna be all hunkered down in that deeper water, trying to stay warm, and they're probably a little bit lethargic in here, so gonna have to kind of burn it right in front of their face to maybe get a reaction strike. Water's semi-clear too, so they should be able to see it pretty well. Man, I'm getting a little bit concerned. These are normally a couple of good spots that I've been to so far, and I think we've had one confirmed bite back at the first spot with all the shad. But man, I'm definitely getting a little bit worried here. It just might not be a good fishing day in general. Let's pack it up. Let's get on to spot 3. I've seen all I need to see here. Alrighty then, we are here at what is likely the 3rd and final pond of the night. As you can see over there, the sun is going down, so we don't have too much time, probably an hour. But this is the pond that I actually tried that big swim bait out on not too long ago, and I actually caught 3 bass. So I might go over to that, but I first want to throw around this chatterbait and see if I can get them on that, because this water is very murky and I really like this chartreuse to stand out right there. Do have a lot of rock structure on this pond, so we might run into a few snags, especially down on that end. It's a little bit shallow, but that's where I did pretty well before. But yeah, as you can see, here's the rocks. So there should be some fish sitting out here off of this rock structure in that deeper water. We're gonna buzz that chatterbait around here and try to finally pick up our first fish. It has been a slow start to the day. That doesn't mean we can't end really well. There we go, fish on. Oh, heck yeah. First one of the day, just a slight tick on the chatterbait. And it's not a bad one either. They are lethargic though, he does not want to fight at all. Until right there. Finally. Man, and you talk about eating a chatterbait. That thing devoured it. Fat bass. Not very long, but he is fat. Look how that bait is down there in his mouth. Sheesh. I think he believed it was real. But man, that's awesome. Oh wow, you guys probably won't be able to see that, but he has been feeding up. He's got a bluegill tail coming out of his mouth right there. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but he has definitely been feeding up for the winter. Solid bass. Finally on the board at the 3rd spot, and we might be on to something here with the chatterbait. Get on out of here, buddy. That is just very, very cool. Seeing him eat that bluegill, just tail sticking out of the mouth like that. You don't see that very often, but definitely tells me that these fish are in here munching on some bait fish and looking to eat. So finally got that first one of the day. Let's hope many more follow here in the short little time that we have to finally get on these fish. I knew we would get rewarded at some point. I mean, we just made too many casts and too many good spots throughout the day so far to not hook up on a bass. And I'm definitely planning on catching more, because I didn't come out today to just catch one. There's some absolute monsters in this pond too, so you never know what we might hook into. Got the potential for a giant, of course. As we do in many of the spots that I fish at, I don't go around to catch dinks. We really need a second fish now to establish that this is actually a pattern with the chatterbait. It's usually not a fluke when they eat it like that, so convincingly as that one did. But we could really use a second fish here. All right, let's keep making our way down the pond here. We got one out of the first location on the pond that we started at, so that's always a good sign. Got plenty of more rock structure down here in the corner though, and this is where we're gonna make our money today, I feel like. Right here seems like as good a spot as any. And my hands are freezing out here, let me tell you, especially after touching that fish. Getting my hands wet. It is probably down into the 30s at this point. Oh, we got another fish. That might be a little better too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we are definitely on a pattern. Finally found him. That's definitely a better fish. Woo! Let's go, baby. That's a chunk. That's a chunk for sure. Woo! They are fat, They are feeding up and they are hungry. And if we get like a real long one, it's gonna be probably a 5-pounder because these things are shaped like footballs. Another really chunky, good fish. Probably 2.5, pushing 3 pounds, honestly. He's got a heck of a belly on him. And that was just our first cast over in this corner. So we are making stuff happen now. See you later, bud. Quality fish. Quality fish. It's funny, you go to a spot where there's shad blowing up everywhere. You have one bite in like an hour. Then you come over to a spot where there's nothing going on, seemingly, no activity. Throw a few casts out there and we got 2 real good fish already. Let's keep this train rolling, man. There are more to be caught. Oh, dude, giant. Giant, we got a giant. On the very next cast, we got an absolute monster. Oh, dude, this is a big fish. This is a big bass. On the next cast. Oh, oh, heck yeah, get in here. Woo! That is the chunk I was looking for. I told you guys. Oh yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it. We have found a pattern. We have found the fish. And we found ourselves a dinosaur. Look how heavy that thing is. I don't even have a scale that works with me today. But that is a chunk of a largemouth bass. Man, that feels super good to get rewarded like that. Let's, I can do a length measurement on him here. I doubt my scale will work, but we'll give it a shot anyway. I definitely need a new scale, guys. This thing is not going to turn on, which sucks, but doesn't change the fact that we still got ourselves a tank of a fish. Let's get a quick measurement on this guy. See if he's a citation fish. I don't think he will be. He's not that long. He's about 19 inches, so 1 inch shy of a citation bass. But I mean, just a gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Let's get that quick release on him so he swims off very healthy and everything. I knew from the moment that that fish hit that we had a big one, because he took off screaming straight towards me, and I knew it was gonna be a battle. But that's probably pushing 4 pounds with the belly on that thing, and 19 inches. Very, very high quality bass. All right, guys, how about that ending right there? 3 good fish here on this last pond of the day. Kind of a last-ditch effort to catch something. And when I'm, you know, down and out like that and I need a bait to come through, the white and chartreuse chatterbait is one that I usually like to go to. And today it produced for me yet again. That bait just comes through with the giants all the time. It comes through with quality fish. It comes through with numbers of fish. And it's one of my favorite baits to use for that reason. If you're looking for a good bait to use here in late November, early December, even through the darkest of the winter months, the white and chartreuse Z-Man is the way to go. Guys, I had a fun time filming this video. If you did enjoy watching it with me here today, leave me a thumbs up, drop a comment, and please subscribe. Let's keep growing this channel. Let's keep putting out good videos, and I'm gonna hope you guys keep watching them. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, tight lines, peace.